Good morning, everyone. We've made it to day 7 of the research at the Snowdrop Tundra 40% area bonus. And I accidentally started the review here, so we're just gonna jump right into it. And then also in this video, I want to go over a little bit more on my overstacking strategy, as well as the cooking widget. I've made an expansion again, actually a whole new setup, and so I'll go over that in this video as well and just have some questions for you all, because I'm super curious if there's anything in particular when it comes to cooking that you would like me to cover. And I can keep that in mind as I make the cooking series, because the main skill analysis and the ingredient deep dive playlists are now done. I have completed them, and so I am looking to make the berry specialist playlist and then start on the ingredient deep dive. So I don't have a nap session today, so this will be what we got: a top belly eradicate, Serebii, and a Slakoth, Ampharos, Wobbuffet, Jigglypuff. Is this a slumbering session? Slacking, another Wobbuffet. Alright, I'll take the new sleep style. Let's see it. 1 star Slakoth. I think I've seen Slakoth before. Apparently not. Only in my thumbnails, I guess. Okay. So I have been on the hunt for Abomasnow. I did see one Abomasnow yesterday, but I want the Snover because of the added inventory, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but let's see it, everyone. I don't think there are any of these that I've really worked on. So we'll just have to see what happens with this session overall. The Wobbuffet is hungry. You know what? I'm actually tempted. The only thing though is the Wobbuffet does not evolve further, and so you missed out on the main skill level. And so I think I'm gonna pass on you, Wobbuffet. I think I caught 1. I don't know why I caught 2, but I know for sure that at some point I caught 1 just to have an eye on the Wobbuffet candy. I have like 600. It's ridiculous. You know what? I know I have a bit of Slakoth fans now in the comments, so I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on this Slakoth right here so we have something to review in this video. And then I'll go on to talk about my team setup, because it is pretty interesting. I've already started the overstacking. My cooking pot is full for the Monday morning dinner, and yeah, seems like we're gonna be able to review a Slakoth here today. Yeah, and then I've made a cooking widget. There may be changes to it coming at some point too, just as I start using it a lot and discovering new ways to apply it. But overall, it's pretty impressive in terms of the wiring in the data set for that widget. Like, I spent a lot of time on it, and man, you know what? I personally prefer Ampharos way more than the Slacking, so that's gonna be it for me. And then we have a Slakoth to peek a look at. Decent amount of dream shards. I don't think I'll be able to level up any of the Pokemon in my bag, but I will double check just to be sure. Sirius is a neutral nature. Got Honey in the 2nd slot, almost triple tomato. Helping speed, inventory. Ooh, those are actually really nice. Skill level up S. Ingredient finding is bad. Helping speed and the neutral nature. So I think if I was to go for the Slakoth, I would want the, I think it is the careful nature. We can have a look actually, just so we can spend a little bit more time here on the Slakoth. So I would personally want to go for the Slowking or Slacking. Slowking, what am I saying? And then I think it is the careful nature. Yeah, that would be perfect, because I don't like the ingredient list here whatsoever. And so I would want this percentage to go down as much as possible. And that 20% here is going to be huge. And then it's super, super slow. So I think the first thing I would want personally, is the helping speed. And then I for sure want the skill trigger. And then after that, probably the berry finding. Maybe a skill trigger S. The hopes and dreams simulator right here. And then potentially helping bonus, something like that. The order here could be a little bit different. Like for example, if the berry finding was in the first slot, that would be pretty cool. And then the helping speed right here. Something like this. That could be pretty good for the slacking. But yeah, I guess to an extent you could also consider the slum, the skill level up M, because ingredient magnet is pretty good at this skill rate right here. It's just, it's so slow. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, compared to Vaporeon, it's just miles away. Like, it's slow, man. So it's 10% higher skill trigger rate, and it does evolve, and it's, yeah, I don't want to do those percentages in my head, but it's way more than 10% slower, and I don't think you want to go for the slacking compared to the Umbreon, but I can see somewhat the appeal here with the ingredient finder. Or magnet rather, but yeah, I'm still not a fan of the slacking, so I'm gonna go Vaporeon personally. All right, we can poke back into the game here. Yeah, I think this Slakoth is just right in the bin. Then I am gonna choose a new research site here and say goodbye to the Snorlax. This is a pretty strong Snorlax, considering the fact that I stopped just feeding it out on Friday. Essentially, when I saw the event notice, I was like, hold up. I'm gonna fuel all that good stuff into the event week. And so this coming week is gonna be a funny one. I don't think I'll do a nap session. I just have to see how far the sneaky snacking will take me. Probably not too far, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So this coming week is gonna be quite lackluster. It's gonna be a funny one. Hey, you can see my gains from cooking there is quite nice. And this is all without the good cam ticket, everyone, so that's pretty strong. I'll take the candies. You can see that it discounts the nap sessions, and the consistency here is really good because you can see the midpoint here is between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. I like it. So I'm going to go back to Snowdrop Tundra, still working on the area bonus here. And considering the fact that the EZZZ tickets are 100 diamonds, I'm almost starting to wonder if that's a bargain now in the shop, because you can go really far by just doing some Sunday shenanigans and utilizing an area bonus 60, but then giving the bonus somewhere. So with also the rerolls on the berries, yeah, I'm really starting to think if the EZZZ ticket in the diamond shop is a really good value. So I'm back at Snowdrop, and the thing here now is, because we're into a new week, there is no sneaky snacking. And so that will show up later in the day. And the only berries that I'm gonna get here is from the Pikachu. Also some apples, it seems like. And the Raikou. Raikou has been giving me a lot of candy. That is very strange. I wonder if there is some hidden 3x the usual help. Alright. That's not a lot. It's the best I got though. So to an extent, I can't really complain about it. So it's just gonna be what it is. And then Yeah, I will have a very lackluster week here, but I'm looking for the area bonus up, and I'm also just looking to see whatever I can do with the Raikou here. I don't really have a good option, so 3 by 4 really is 12. So even the best Gallade here, I think to an extent, I could outdo almost. The Gallade has a crazy skill trigger rate though. We can have a look at the Gallade. We see here 5.3 at the 40-minute mark, so it's not too much slower than the Raikou. So the main thing now with the Raikou is it doesn't have any electric types to support it, and I just checked the table for it. I'd have to use 2 main skill seeds to get up to 4 help. And then I could switch out one of these Pokemon for Ampharos. But then I think the overall value here is just in the... Oh, hello there. In the setup here with the ice types. And dark types. And normal types. So. Hey! We got the maintenance during sleep here. I didn't notice that. Let's have a look. I feel like there was a comment by Liam in the Discord that I haven't seen yet. Addition of shiny Pokemon profile icons. That's what it was. You can, you will be able to set shiny Pokemon you have befriended as your profile icon. Addition of the new campfire relaxing sound, and preparation for the Flower Festival event. All right. See here, changes to the cooking times on the home screen. The cooking times for breakfast and dinner have changed as follows. Breakfast before change, 6 a.m. After change. Oh, they got us. Oh, that's funny. Dinner before change. I knew this would come eventually. Hear me out. I knew it. This was too obvious not to patch, but I was just curious to see what would happen. Ooh, stat changes. That's amazing. Ooh, then I have to go through my widget a little bit. This is going to be an interesting video after all, because then we can review all the Pokemon with their updated stats too. Nice. Okay, game contents. Changes to the cooking time. So breakfast is going to be 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. That makes a lot of sense. Dinner is going to be 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. So yeah, you won't have the possibility to cook then 4 meals. Makes perfect sense. I'm actually in favor of this change. And at the very least, the bonuses will carry over into the new week. And to an extent, you know what this means though? It means that because I don't get to cook that 4th dinner in that 2-hour time slot, this gives me an 8-hour time slot for the Dedenne shenanigans. Because then what I can do is I can still wake up at 4 in the morning, I can still pop my overstacking, and then I can immediately switch into my Dedenne team. And then I can just run Dedenne for like 8 hours, and then hopefully crit that cooking pot overstacked thing because I'll have like 200 extra ingredients, like a 400 ingredient cooking pot. That's gonna be huge. So I'm almost wondering if they are gonna cap that as well to where it resets every week. That could make sense, honestly, because this is pretty broken. It does affect game balance, but for now it seems that they have not updated that part. So it seems like they're slowly trying to just wiggle along and make changes one by one. And to an extent, I don't think that cooking should be nerfed all that much going forward, because this, if you have like a strong berry team, it's just gonna run wild compared to the cooking. Like the cooking is really delicate and hard to balance. There are a lot of Pokemon that you have to cover, because not only do you have like 1 out of 3 berries per island that you can cover. But per island, there are always 3 different types of dishes, and the favorite berry there is really hard to really figure out because, for example, if you have Charizard, for the most part, those ingredients are not going to be in desserts, you know? So it's just a little bit of a... Ooh, this is pretty huge. Slowbro and Slowking. Sableye, Swalot. Yo. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think we just have to go through one of these. Okay, so the ingredient finding has been adjusted 1.3 times, so 30% more. That is huge on the Slowbro. And on the Slowking, no, let's see, ingredient finding 1.1. All right, that is interesting. That is super interesting. Let's hop into the comparison. Wow, this video turned into like a huge video without me being aware of that beforehand at all. This is huge. All right, this could almost be its own video, but we're already so deep in here that we're just gonna do it in this video. Whoa, that is huge. All right, I can make the adjustments here in the video right now because let's see here. I do have my widget, and then I do apologize. It may be some lag here as I'm clicking around a little bit, but we are going to solve this just live on video. And so I'm gonna just put the multiplier right into the cell here. So I'm gonna multiply the Slowbro's ingredient rate by 1.3. Let's see if this works. So it has got 15%, then that should be like what? 18? $19, whoa, that is pretty strong. All right, so then we got Slowking as well. Need to update the ingredient finding rate so that we have that on the way. That is super exciting because I have a very ingredients focused Slowbro. We need to pop into the bag too in this video. Okay, so the Slowking is 1.1. Part of what makes this change so exciting is because Slowbro has essentially been useless, like bar none. It's like G tier. It's like just bottom F tier because it has, like in every single way, Slowking has been better. And not only that, Slowking is a useless Pokemon overall. So some of these boosts here are gonna be huge. So we're updating the ingredient rate, and then we can have a look at the skill rate as well. Let's see here. So the skill rate then is going from 6.8. Oh, this is good. I'm excited. Oh wait, yeah. So the Slowbro does not get an update to the skill rate. I see. So they are trying to make the Slowbro more ingredients focused while still being an ingredient specialist. And so the Slowbro departures from Slowking in terms of ingredient rate, and the Slowking departures from Slowbro in terms of the skill trigger rate. That is interesting because now they can kind of do their own thing independently. So Slowking has main skill chance by 1.1, ingredient finding by 1.1 also. That is strong, 7.5%. So if I just cover these percentages on the Slowking, it is 1.1 on the ingredient rate, and there's 1.1 to the skill rate, and then the skill rate on the Slowbro is the same, but the ingredient finding is 0.3. Okay, then we have a look at the inventory. Slowbro says carry limit +6. Doing math in my data sheet here, that's funny, man. +6 to the carry limit, so that is now 16. And the Slowking is also +6, so that will take it all the way to 17. That's huge. Whoa, these are some exciting changes, because then at this point, with these kind of adjustments, I'm almost wondering... Wait, that was not how I wanted that to go. 66 carry limit, could you imagine? Because with these balance changes, then essentially when they buff these F tier Pokemon, potentially they could turn out to be viable at some point. I don't know if this makes the cut still, they are too slow, but the inventory is a lot better now, and the ingredient finding rate on the Slowbro is huge. This is to the point where I would consider using Slowbro personally for Tails, just because from 20%, if you do get the ingredient finding up, the ingredient finder M, the ingredient finder S, and you get the helping speed M, then at this point you're actually looking at a decent value. For a skill specialist with a somewhat useful ability, like obviously energy is always nice, and with this kind of skill trigger rate, if you do get a good blend of the Tails and the skill triggers, then I think overall the energizing cheer could be interesting even at low levels. So at level 2, it should heal like 18 or something like that. That's pretty good. So we have more Pokemon to review here. We got Sudowoodo. Let's have a look at it. We can bring it up in the widget. And I honestly think we'll have to go through the cooking widget in a different video just because of the turn that this video took. I'm gonna go and do Sudowoodo. Oh, I see another change. This is huge. Oh my god. This is really, really big. I'm gonna take it a little bit slowly here, but wow. They have actually buffed Energizing Cheer S. Wow. So we have Sudowoodo. It's got an increased carry limit of 6. That's pretty good. Still don't think that it will make the cut though for the Sudowoodo. Yep, got updated the carry limit. And the main skill chance is 1.1 and ingredient finding by 1.1. I don't think you want ingredient finding on the Sudowoodo, but alright. Could be interesting. So we have the ingredient finding rate. Maybe this is some sort of like tension balance update. Very strange. So we should look at over 20% on the ingredient rate. Yup. And then we have the skill trigger rate, which is also boosted on the Sudowoodo by 1.1. Let's see it, everyone. I will go back to RaenonX and double check that I've done my math correctly here later. Pushing it past 7%. How does that compare to Espeon now? Because the... or Ampharos, really. Ampharos is the big Pokemon. It's way slower, but now with the potential for Favored Berry and 7%, I do think it at least does a little bit. 10% is a decent boost, because that also stacks nicely with all those sub-skills and natures, because that's a multiplier by 10%, so you get 10% more after all your other stuff. So maybe in reality, it becomes like 20% better, just because those multiplicative effects really stack up nicely. So we have 2 more Pokemon to look over, and that is the Swalot. That is a huge one. And the Sableye. Are we actually looking at a potential viable Swalot at some point? I see that they're trying to make them work, but they just haven't hit yet. They're still really poor. So Swalot and the Sableye, both Generation 3 Pokemon. Alright, I think I'm gonna go through the Sableye first and update, and we have the main skill chance and the ingredient finding that are both increased. I don't know if that's what you want though on the Sableye. So I wonder if it's like they buff it some and then they nerf it some at the same time. Very strange. The thing though with the skill Pokemon like these are you probably want berry finding on it to just even out that overall output, and at that point you don't want the increased ingredient rate, but we'll just have to see here. So we do have the 17% on the Sableye increased by 1.15. That's almost 20. A bit better, but still not a whole lot. No, wait, that was the ingredient rate. What am I doing? All right, good thing I'm on camera here, so I'm a little bit more aware of what I'm putting into the calculator here. All right, so the ingredient rate was increased, and then it was the skill trigger rate by 15% too. That's a huge buff. Wow, just imagine what that will do with all those multipliers. So 1.5, no, 15. There we go. All right, so that is buffed up to 6.7%. That's pretty strong. And then I just have to go over the other ones. I do think I did the correct thing with the Sudowoodo. Yeah, main skill chance 1.1, ingredient finding 1.1. All right, so the Sableye is now correct, I think. I can look at the multiplier in the spot here. 1.1 in the ingredient finding. Oh, come on. Don't mess me up, man. There we go. Okay, not going to touch my phone. So, got 1.1 to the ingredient rate and 1.15 on the Sableye. And then we have the Swalot. Let's see here. That has the ingredient rate same as before, but the skill trigger rate is 15% higher. That's a pretty decent buff actually. So that should take it to 6.6, something like that, or maybe actually 7? Yeah, 7%. And then the Swalot gets 6 added to its inventory. Don't know what that's really gonna do for it though. It has the potential for the double mushroom, so that could be interesting. But I guess they are just wiggling away on these Pokemon. So here it is. Gonna jump back into the game now that we've made the adjustments. So that's pretty huge. Adjustment to the target of main skill Energizing Cheer S. The helper Pokemon with the lowest energy on the team will be more likely to receive the effect of this main skill. Yo, you know what you can do? Oh, this is amazing. You can do A-B team setups with this Swalot. And you can have the B team as the battery, where you just have some dud Pokemon at 150%, 3 of them, and then you can target the huge healing. So I think overall, the Slowking may be it after this update, honestly. Particularly if you consider the Suicune combos. Yo, this may be it actually, because with a fairly high skill trigger rate, you can to an extent much more frequently shuffle things around and do the overcharge strategy. And at that point, it makes sense late game too, when that energy will be like way over 50%, like 80, 100% maybe energy recovered. And so you can really run your Pokemon into the ground and then just bounce them back up with this targeting. So now that it's not random, that was something that Liam in particular, I think, pointed out in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. And essentially, with the overcharge strategy, with the Team B setup, Oh, I hope they don't nerf that at some point. That could be... That doesn't make sense to nerf, though, because you can always switch out one by one. And it would be weird if you could switch out and then it heals something in the bag instead. But that does mean you can run Swalot, 350% Pokemon in the Team B. And then you can switch out the 5th spot for whatever Pokemon you want to heal up. So obviously, Swalot will heal itself then. If the Pokemon that you bring into in the 5th slot, if that has a higher energy percentage than the Swalot. So that makes it so that I almost have to update the energy or energizing Cheer S video, because that is pretty strong. The helper Pokemon with the lowest energy on the team will be... No, it says more likely to receive... God, no. Why couldn't you just go all the way there? Oh, they know about the AB team setup. That won't work then. At the very least, not overall, because then you have a huge chance still to heal up those 3 Pokemon that are full. Alright, starting level of newly befriended Pokemon raised from between 1 to 3. This adjustment is meant to help beginner researcher in particular so that they can enjoy the game more. Starting level of newly befriended Pokemon raised between 1 to 3. Okay, so this is not at all the friendship level. I was thinking, why would they do that? Because certain species like Bulbasaur, you actually want to find a good one before you find friendship level 10, because it will crowd out some of those good ingredient finding sub skills, because there aren't really all that many gold skills that are targeted towards the ingredient finding Pokemon. So yeah, this just means like the level of the Pokemon. So they're trying to like bump up the low tail of the newer players, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind that at all. Okay, well, then my excitement kind of just fell on its face with this energizing cheer. A little bit. More likely it makes it seem that it's just like, instead of it being 20% across the board, maybe it is 50 and... no, 60 and 10s. I don't know. This is a bit strange, honestly. I think overall, the Swalot was the Pokemon that gained the most from this, because overall I would say it's pretty close to the Lucario, just because the skill rate was so high compared to the Lucario. We can have a look at those real quickly. Just get the Pokemon by Pokemon comparison out of the way here. Wow, this video turned really long, but I think some of you will really enjoy this kind of content. I know for sure I am. So yeah, depending on where that midpoint is on the variable Dream Shard Magnet, then that could be interesting, but it's still too slow, I think. The Swalot, you'll have to use a lot of mains or sub-skill slots for those helping speeds. 40% more skill trigger rate though, that is pretty strong. And that also, the more multipliers you have, that's just going to be a bigger gap. So it is like 33% slower, but has a 44%. Or just 40 flat, seems higher skill rate. At that point, I almost wonder if with a helping speed, that works a lot better on the slow Pokemon to make them catch up, because you cut a lot of minutes. And then on the upside of the skill trigger rate bonuses, then I wonder if Swalot is comparable now to the Lucario, but I think overall both of them are pretty duds still. So we just have to see what happens with that. I wonder if this is like a buy Pokemon adjustment that could then be impacted if they update the Dream Shard Magnet S. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Swalot has caught up to Lucario, and so I would say Swalot now is a D tier Pokemon, not an F tier. And I do think the Slowking jumped up a spot too, because the increased main skill chance and the ingredient finding, I do think the ingredient finding is huge on the slow bros. Just because of those tails. So it is interesting how the Slowbro and the Slowking now has kind of separated a little bit. Both of them got an increased carry limit, and then the Slowbro got ingredient finding by 1.3. That's a huge boost. And then Slowking by 1.1, and then Slowking got 1.1 to the main skill chance. So it seems that they are doing minor adjustments, just trying not to upset the game too much, but I'm starting to wonder if that Slowking is going to be a strong one at some point, because there could be some combo potential with the Suicune. So I think at this point we should cut it off on the video here, and then I'll talk about my cooking widget in a different video. So hope you enjoyed this one. It was interesting with the 1.5 update, and thank you for watching.